Hell yeah.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're going to be reacting to a Resident Evil video of the scariest Resident Evil game, which I believe is Resident Evil 1. Resident Evil 1 had been the most scariest one that has come out so far. Nice. And as well, that's I don't even know if that's a positive or negative comment. I'm going to be 100% with you. But yeah, no, we're gonna go ahead and react to this one. I love the Resident Evil franchise. It is one of my favorite ones, and we are gonna go on ahead and get into this one.
The Resident Evil games are the perfect balance between horror and goofy charm.
Where's everyone going?
Bingo.
They're like the video game equivalent of those cheesy Amazon Prime movies, right up there with Sharknado 5, Global Swarming. That is until the series lost touch with its roots and began moving in a more action-packed direction. This led to fans losing interest in the franchise after the disaster that was Resident Evil 6.
What the?
See, that's the thing though.
Really
that is,
good.
dude, his Red Dead Redemption 2 ones. Ooh. When I saw his graph chart and I noticed that like fucking 4 was peak and then it kind of went down. 5 was good. It didn't feel like it was the Resident Evil that we knew from before. Definitely still a good game. I enjoyed it. 6 was horrendous dog shit, and I never want to play that shit again. Unless I find somebody who wants to play it again, then maybe. But like, no, I don't want to play it again. I played that shit on hard and I wanted to kill myself. Fuck that shit.
What the?
So for Resident Evil 7, rather than trying to be the next Call of Duty, the game was narrowed down to a smaller, more focused story. And that focus was on scaring the pants off you. They went from trying to be the next Michael Bay film to using classic horror movies as a blueprint for this game. And while it was a huge risk, it may have resulted in one of the greatest survival horror games I've ever played. In this game, we take the role of Ethan Winters, who recently got a message from his wife Mia telling him to come here.
Why is he fucking
now, this is
mogging?
strange because 2 years.
Why is he mogging the entire scene? Bro is like straight up like, I can't do it with this face, obviously, but you know what I mean. Pursed lips, nice little furrow in his brow, fucking stern expression. He's mogging. Bro is literally mogging.
Mia went missing, leaving behind not a single clue as to where she
Ethan walk him down.
Mia told us to come find her all the way out here in Butt Cheek, Louisiana. But thankfully, there is nothing out here. Supposedly, she's inside that weird murder house, and we've got to go in and get her out.
I agree with him to an extent. I don't think, I mean, maybe I played it already. I 100% played it. It's a good one. It's a good game. I liked it. I liked Resident Evil. I liked this Resident Evil. It was a really good one. My problem with it, I don't really have a problem with it. I'm going to be 100%. It's more just like, it isn't as scary as other Resident Evils before it, you know? It doesn't feel scary is what it was to me. It was good, but yeah, I don't know, man.
Once we actually get into the house and walk through this clearly PT-inspired hallway, we're introduced to one of the biggest horror elements that this game uses. Rot.
Ooh.
This kitchen that looks like the inside of a Twitch streamer's bedroom plays a fundamental role in creating an unsettling atmosphere as soon as you walk in the door. The room is full of rotten food, weathered furniture, and little bugs scurrying all around.
Why would he just fucking let the bug just fucking look at him? No, fuck that. I would have smashed it. I would have grabbed it, crushed it, and fucking thrown it on the floor. Fuck that shit. I don't like roaches.
Hidden around, pointing at what evils might be lurking among us. And over here on the table, we got a little environmental storytelling, which is my favorite. There's a newspaper detailing the disappearance of over 20 people in the last 2 years. I don't think it takes a genius to figure out what's going on here. Bears. Just around the corner from this nasty kitchen is the attic. And you already know, when you're in the murder house, you gotta go up to the attic. This is the first of many save rooms. It's something that is incredibly iconic for Resident Evil and makes a lot of sense for a horror game, because it would be way less scary if you could just quick save and quick load whenever you wanted to. Although thankfully, you can save as many times as you want, unlike the first few games where saving depended on an item, and if you didn't have any more of that item, you couldn't save the game. All right,
okay, you see, that's another gripe that gets to me. I don't know about you guys, but that was never a problem with any of the games that I had that kind of limited the amount of saves that I had. I'm gonna be 100% with you. I've never had that problem. In the new Resident Evils, they give you a they just give you enough to save during that time. And when I played Resident Evil 1 and I was doing it with a limited amount of saves that they give you, it was literally enough to go through the game with extras.
Games for harder difficulty.
I play all Resident Evils on the hardest difficulty that you can play within the game when you do a first time playthrough. Always.
Had our taste of the rancid, rotten horror, but a horror game full of horror tropes would
like
be incomplete without a little bit of analog horror. Inspired by stuff like the Blair Witch Project and The Ring, Resident Evil 7 has these VHS tapes placed all over. But this isn't a rare VHS taping of Bambi straight from the Walt Disney Vault. Oh no. These are tapes made by different characters within the game and are used to reveal secret passageways or unfurl more of the story in this game. If you remember earlier, there was that van sitting out in front of the gate. Well, that belonged to a team of ghost hunters called the Sewer Gators. And this tape was their recording of exploring this abandoned house in the bayou. And they're here to investigate the disappearance of the family that lived here. And I'll just say, this guy's no Zach Baggins from Ghost Adventures, the greatest ghost hunter of all time, because immediately this dude's producer goes missing. That would never happen to Zach.
Andre! Clancy, you see where Andre went?
Yeah, let's just fast forward that real quick. Long story short, they go and find a weird hole in the wall and they go through it and there's a ladder. You go down it. Oh my God, guy's dead. That's scary. And lives were lost. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, the important thing to acknowledge here is that we learn this house used to belong to a family called the Bakers. Dude called them backward. I don't really know exactly what that means. Apparently they went missing 3 years ago, suspiciously around the same time Mia went missing.
When the insult of backward comes into, it's mostly just used for people who live in a past state where it's just like more primitive than what it is modern. So when you call you backward, they just mean that you're a lot more you're more primitive than what is normally like used to, basically.
Outdated, basically.
Oh, and it revealed the little trap door with the handle in the fireplace. Honestly, it's a pretty interesting way to show you how to move forward while also making you terrified to do so. On the wall, you can find a painting of the Baker family that they talked about. And looking at them, they seem pretty normal. It makes you wonder how any of this could have happened and why the hell they need a secret passageway in their wall. I know it's just a game and you're not supposed to question this kind of stuff, but what kind of Scooby-Doo ass villain do you need to be to get one of these bitches built? Some random ass house in Louisiana and they built a labyrinth underneath it just for fun. I'll spoil it for you. It still doesn't make sense by the end. I still don't understand why they did this. We just gotta move on from it. And of course, it leads to a prison cell, because why not? They must have had Doofenshmirtz draw up the plans for this house. And this prison cell is locked shut with a chain, which means it's time to engage in one of Resident Evil's age-old gameplay loops, where you have to go around and find a way to open up this door. Something that took me hours playing the first Resident Evil games, just going around and trying to find the key. And oh boy, was it a tough one in this one. All I had to do was look to the left, and there it was, some bolt cutters, and you pull them over and you open it up. What a puzzle, man. I was bewildered on that one. I didn't know where it was. On the wall around the bolt cutters though,
bro, legit fucking old Resident Evil like puzzles were so fucking nonsensical. 100%. Like, I don't know about you, but I don't remember a police station needing a secret tunnel to other locations of the building. I'm pretty sure that the police station was a mansion before it became a police station, because there is no fucking way that a door should be opened with a fucking shield or some shit, or you need 5 old ass keys to open separate fucking doors. That is fucking insane.
Are different missing person pages, likely representing the people that have gone missing that we read about in the newspaper earlier. And there's a little booklet that has a list of all these people. And next to their names, it'll either say like turned or dead. Most of them say dead, but next to the cameraman, it says L. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I'm gonna assume he took one. Is that right? Hang on. No, I think, all right, whatever. This little booklet also means They're doing some experiments here. You know, this is almost like a fairy tale where you save a princess from a dragon, except in this case, princess
I
is my
started
wife.
thinking
The dragon,
maybe one of the police zombies would have the keys since you know they work there.
You would think so. You would think that one of the worker zombies there would have the keys, but fucking nope, that's not a thing.
He's a dirty kitchen and hillbillies. But honestly, I'd rather fight a dragon than hillbillies. Hillbillies kind of freak me out.
Did anyone see you? Did he see you?
Who else is here? What the hell's going on?
Daddy's coming. We need to go.
Daddy?
We need to go now.
It
Daddy.
seems like Mia's got a couple of screws loose and weird spaghetti hair. And now she's gonna lead us even deeper into the weird labyrinth under this house. If she wanted to get out, why would we not just go back the way that we came? I mean, I know there's a broken ladder, but if this were anything like the other Resident Evil games, then
Asterisk
one of them
moms,
would just
asterisk.
crouch down in front of the ladder and scream the other person's name until they got to throw him up.
Come on! Come on!
Come on!
Come on! Come
Hurry
on!
up!
Come on!
Hurry up!
Come on!
What I will say about this game is that the environmental storytelling is off the charts. I mean, just being able to discern the missing persons through newspapers and pages on the wall, as well as the disgusting environments. I mean, the person designing these environments must have had some bills due because these look crazy good. Nothing is more crucial for effective horror than
can't be
atmosphere, and these
serious.
environments truly set the atmosphere from start to finish. But close runner-ups in horror necessities are scary dolls and loud noises off screen, and baby, we got them both.
That do be scary. I do hate loud noises.
And of course, when you go to chase after her, she's nowhere to be found. Why would she be? You know, why would it be that easy? You know, this gives us a chance to walk around, explore a couple things, find a healing item, which I think is really funny in this game. The healing item is just like a little bottle that you pour all over yourself and then you're good. I think this is only rivaled
That's
by
fucking
the Far
funny.
Cry healing animations,
Shiva
which are
always
just
sucking my
absolutely
180
insane. And oh
shots
boy,
when
look at
being
that.
chased
The
by
phone
the
is ringing.
Amazon
What could be more?
giants.
It's like in Village where your hand gets cut off, you pour a little bit of liquid and you're just fully repaired for some reason. That shit's fucking hilarious. Is cucking my 180 shots when being chased by the Amazon giant? Yeah, dude. Oh my god, I've shot my friend sometimes.
More important. So you go and
Friendly
answer
fire's
this
a
random
bitch.
family's phone. Oh my God, it's a lady who knows everything that is going on and is gonna tell us exactly where to go. But before we can do any of that, oh my God, Mia is crazy again. Whoa, oh gosh. Scary. Now at this point, it's like a switch has flipped within Mia and she begins stabbing us like a rabid animal with a knife. And honestly, she looks terrifying. Before, I mentioned that this game uses old horror movies as a blueprint, and Mia is our first real taste of that. You see, in the Evil Dead remake from 2013, the main character, Mia, is brought out to a cabin in the woods where her friends help her detox off of drugs. But underneath the cabin in the basement is the goddamn Necronomicon, a book made of skin with demonic texts inside. So
So
naturally,
Pepe
they
right
open it
there.
up and read it out loud, because why the fuck not, I guess. And in
Yeah, this is what Kuma was talking about, where like you have to be handed an idiot stick to do to do these kind of things, because my
Register the
god,
pentagram.
whenever you see scary movies, people are really fucking stupid. I have not seen I have seen a lot of movies. There's some movies that don't require like absolute stupidity. Not Heritage. Was it Heritage? The one where like grandma was summoning demons to take over the sun. Where no, it was called when you inherit your dreams from, was it Inherit? Was it Heritage? Heritage movie. No, it's not Heritage.
Inheritance?
Hereditary. So Hereditary was the one that I was talking about.
Hereditary.
That one, no one there technically has an idiot stick. It's just kind of like demons coming in and kind of like fucking shit up pretty badly, and then it kind of like makes the family go fucking insane and shit. So that one, there are movies where the person doesn't have to be fucking stupid, you know? But in this case, in like Evil Dead, no, they were fucking dumb. They were stupid as shit. Like, I swear.
doing so, they release an ancient evil that possesses Mia. And then throughout the movie, Mia has a constant battle between her and this demon inside of her. And her friends suffer the consequences, never really knowing if they're talking to Mia or the demon. I'm sure you can connect a couple dots here and see that Mia was ripped straight out of the Evil Dead remake and plopped down in here. Not only does she got the same first name, but she also does that thing where she kind of flips between normal Mia and scary Mia. When you copy someone's homework, you're not supposed to make it look too obvious. I don't think they got that memo. It could be argued either way whether this is a tasteful tribute to the Evil Dead remake or a soulless copy-paste job. Personally, I like it. I think it's a good homage to that movie, and only because Mia is not the central antagonist of the game. I think if the game was all about her, yeah, it'd be kind of shitty. But there's so much more to Resident Evil 7 that this very clear reference to Evil Dead does not feel cheap. And I think it helps that the developers went out of their way to state that the Evil Dead was a huge reference for this game. And if that wasn't made obvious enough with Mia's character, what happens next is about to make it real obvious. You see, in the original Evil Dead franchise, before the remake, specifically Evil Dead 2 in 1987, the main character, Ash, cuts off his hand with a chainsaw. That's one way to do NoFap. And now here comes good old Mia, headed down the hallway with a chainsaw.
Wow, what the
Clearly
fuck?
meant to make us think that she's gonna cut off our hand. Oh my god! Go! Oh, now the difference here is Ash
hilarious.
actually put the chainsaw on his hand and is awesome. And Ethan Winters just put that bitch in his pocket and walked around stumping. See, Mia may be taken care of, but as soon as she goes down, a new threat appears.
So my thought here was, I think the reason why they ended up doing that, well, obviously for the horror content of it, because you do die. Yeah, I'm sorry, fucking spoilers. You're fucking dead throughout the entire thing of this Resident Evil. Biohazard, you die, but you become like a mushroom monster yourself. You become a fungal monster, but you have retained all of the memories of Ethan. So it's kind of crazy. And then you make a fungal baby.
Briefly, but I think now
your baby
is a
mama.
good time to talk about the Baker family and what really happened with Mia. A little lower down for you. So basically, Mia, that sweet, beautiful woman who could do no wrong, actually a super spy. And she was here doing super spy stuff. When she disappeared 3 years ago, she told Ethan she was going off to do a babysitting job. Lie. She was actually on a big ship helping to transport this little girl named Evelyn by sea. Evelyn was like patient zero for this crazy bioweapon that they called the Mold. Long story short, they were on this ship and it crashed. Now stick with me on this. Jack, Marguerite, Lucas, and Zoe Baker were all living happily, peacefully in their Louisiana home that for some reason has Scooby-Doo traps in it. One swampy bayou day, Jack Baker finds Evelyn and Mia washed up on shore after that ship had crashed. And he, being a good Samaritan that he is, brought them into his home.
Let's get this poor girl some fresh clothes and into a warm bed. We'll put her in Lucas's old room.
The Bakers gave them a place to stay and took care of them. But remember, Evelyn is basically a bioweapon. And this mold she was infected with is contagious. Now, the mold affects people in stages. The first stage is increased regenerative abilities. The second is when the brain gets infected and the host starts to become mind-controlled by Evelyn. And the third is total cell replacement. Basically, their whole body gets replaced with mold and they get super strength and stuff. Now, the Baker family had no chance of understanding what they were being turned into. And as we are brought to the big family house, apparently there's another house, we are shown exactly what they've become.
The one that I hate the worst, I guess you could still say it's a very good design on her, because my god, they did very well into making me think that that's the most disgusting fucking creature ever made, was the mother, because her vagina turns into a fucking
Texas
beehive.
Chainsaw Massacre.
Where am I? What the hell?
Rise and shine, sleepyhead. It's time for supper.
Dude, I wasn't ready. Hang on. Nice. This sweet, caring family has become a twisted reflection of what they once were. And this dinner scene stands out to me most out of anything in the game just because of how disturbing it is. And it also stands out as one of the strongest references to classic horror. Specifically in this scenario, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, I didn't even realize that was a part of it.
Just looking at the two scenes side by side, you can see that they are directly parallel. Beyond just visual similarities, what I see here more is a parallel.
I am absolutely fucking shaming Mama for having a fucking serious case of high pussy. Oh, I fucking hate bugs. I hate bug nests, and I hate pussy.
Is a family that is living through a disgusting, terrible, horrific scenario, behaving as though it is completely normal. Behaving normally in wildly abnormal scenarios is peak horror, and both of these families behave as though it is just another family dinner. Now, I know that's a lot of references and shit to take in,
the entire fucking life.
What's crazy is
shit that goes on down
just
there.
the tip of the iceberg. The references to classic horror movies go even deeper, as each one of these little freaks at the table represents a core piece of horror history. Now, the intro was pretty cut and dry, with old spaghetti hair over here being the main focus for that portion.
Did that have to be a quote to be at? Motherfucker, I keep forgetting that I say some dumb shit sometimes. God damn it.
But the rest of the game is split up into different sections, and each one of these Baker family members is the focus or antagonist of that section. And the first one we focus on is Big Papa Jack Baker. Once the dinner scene goes a little wild, they try to make you eat some food, a hand gets cut off, blah, blah, blah. Everybody gets up and leaves conveniently, and you are given free roam to explore the house. Now, you can find some ammo, try out the couches, slap around grandma a little bit, but after a short time, here's Johnny. Jack Baker chases you through this house.
Jack's entire fucking thing is the scariest shit ever. It's like Mr. X, but hillbilly guy. The craziest part is he wasn't even a hillbilly to begin with. This fucker just kind of turned into one. Just out of fucking nowhere, dude. And nothing phases the fucker too. That's insane.
But walking, never running. Why? Because Jack Baker and his section are the embodiment of the slasher film. Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, or The Shining, one of the most iconic slasher films ever made that stars a murderous father named Jack.
A little slow tonight, isn't it?
He's not running at you because that is rule number one of the slasher film. The scary murder guy always walks menacingly at you. He never runs, and somehow he always catches up to you anyway. The only way to escape from Jack is through this hatch in the floor. I know Fred is walking around with that dumb fucking ascot around his neck somewhere. This is like peak Scooby-Doo shit. I seriously don't understand how this random bayou house has more hidden passageways than the damn Batcave, but it provides for a good exit, so whatever.
Okay, chat, this is the first time I lived in the house, but this house is kind of just like basic living. But for the people who have like big houses, do these kind of things exist? Like, are there hatches to secret rooms and shit like this? Is this fucking normal? I've never heard of this kind of thing. I've never seen this kind of thing. Is this like, do you have a hatch in like a random room that leads to the fucking basement, or like something that leads into a corridor that leads into a different location? Like, what the fuck is this kind of fucking, like, what is this? Seriously.
After crawling around in the floorboards a little bit like a little worm guy, we make it to the second save room. And would you look at that? Another phone call just for me. Hello?
Hi, I'm looking for Hugh.
No, sorry, I think you have the wrong number.
No one named Hugh there?
Yeah, no, no one named Hugh here.
Last name Janus?
Sorry, don't know what to tell you. Never met a Hugh Jane.
You did good.
That's fucking funny.
Zoe, right? And what the fuck are they?
Shut up and listen if you want to stay alive. You gotta get out of that house. There might be a way out through the main hall.
All right.
Oh, and that thing on your wrist is a codex. Don't lose it. It's important.
All right, two things. One, that was Zoe Baker. I didn't mention her name before, but she is one of the Bakers. For some reason, she has remained sentient. I'm still not like fully clear on why. I'm sure there's a reason. I just it never clicked for me. She pretty much guides us through this whole game over the phone. And two, I don't know if you noticed yet, but Ethan's hand is like stapled back onto his body, and it's fine and like functional. I wonder what's going on there. I don't know. Maybe something. Maybe some shenanigans. Like a little bit of shenanigans. He got in the mold. It's like a whole. Don't worry about it. Leaving this.
He's you don't find out. You don't even find that out here. You kind of get the idea that you died, like after getting stomped out by fucking Jack Baker after he curb stomps you into a grave. But in the next like maybe 2 games after Village, you find out that he's not Ethan. He's a mold monster with Ethan's memories. And funny enough, Ethan wasn't the one who fucked his wife. It was Ethan Mold Monster that fucked his wife. So Ethan Mold Monster Winters is the one who has a baby and not regular Ethan. Oops.
Save room leads you right back out into the house. The game plan is to go up to this window, talk to this cop. Oh boy, he's gonna be helpful and he's definitely not gonna die. Oh crap, who could have seen that coming? This triggers a boss fight with Jack Baker. And now Jack is far too molded to just be shot in the head and killed. And so with this boss fight, we gotta get a little creative. Hit him with a car. This would normally kill any person, but if you think that's the end of Jack Baker, then you clearly don't know rule number 2 of slasher films. The killer always gets back up.
Fuck.
Do I have your attention, boy? You're about to see some wonderful.
And it shoots himself in the head, I guess. Whatever, he's out of the way now, which gives us the opportunity to get a funny medallion and put it on a door.
In a really weird but really fucking hilarious way. I guessing that's aura farming in a very, very funny way to do it. I'm not even gonna lie.
Because keys are for bitches. And with that, we're set free into the main house, the most classic of Resident Evil setting.
It's the overworld, dude. That's basically the overworld.
For a little bit of context here, the first Resident Evil game takes place in a mansion that is extremely similar to this one. Inside the mansion, there were few zombies compared to what later entries might have.
I'm trying to find like the good things to say about this game, but like,
he was trying to find good things to say.
But each one of them was a stressful encounter to either kill or try and get around in the narrow hallways and with the weird, like, very hard to tell what's going on control schemes. The core gameplay loop of Resident Evil 1 was moving around the mansion, opening different doors, solving puzzles so that you could get keys and open other doors. It was basically just a big scary scavenger hunt. Now this mansion here in Resident Evil 7 is most definitely meant to reflect that, what with its various themed keys and puzzles, as well as a great homage with this shotgun in here. There was a shotgun on the wall in the original Resident Evil where if you...
Brother, if you know how to use a shotgun in Resident Evil, my god, it is the best fucking weapon to have in the game. Holy moly. I don't know if I ever... Because I know how to use it, obviously. You kind of like have to aim up when they're close enough to you and then you shoot. There might be a chance that you behead them. There might not be. I don't know. But still a fun gun. I do love me a shotgun.
Picked it up, it would like undo a mechanism and you would get locked in, and so you had to find a broken shotgun and put it up there and then you could leave. And so they put that same thing in Resident Evil 7, which I really like. But they did not put the dog hallway. That remains in Resident Evil 1 and in my nightmares. Oh fuck! No! 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 Why do bad things happen to me? I'm gonna be honest, I do love this game. I really, really do. But it almost seems to me like instead of writing this game outright, it was more like they just assembled a puzzle and all of the pieces were different media that they enjoyed. I think it works when you put it all together and you're experiencing it, but when you lay it out like this, it's a little iffy. Anyway, eventually Jack catches up because, like I told you, the killer's never dead, rule number 2. And see, in slasher movies, the scariest part is not when the person running gets caught, it's the chase. Oftentimes they spend half the movie being chased with the near misses or hiding just around the corner hoping he won't hear you. And this is something they get so incredibly right with Jack Baker. As we're exploring and looking for these keys that we need, Jack Baker is either right behind us or nowhere to be seen. The horror comes from the atmosphere set in this mansion. I mean,
I think I remember a couple of Resident Evils having this, you know, obviously like fucking Mr. X from one of them. Nemesis is a big one too. But if you don't know, there was a Resident Evil franchise. For the bigger people who know about the Resident Evil franchise, then obviously they'd know. But there was Outbreak and Outbreak File 2. And I don't know if Outbreak had it technically, but Outbreak File 2 did. And each and every single one of those fucking levels had a monster that you could not kill by normal means, and it would chase you everywhere. There was a hospital that had a leech monster that would like go around fucking throwing leeches at you and trying to kill you. You had a zoo that had a giant fucking elephant, for fuck's sake, And then you had like this other one that just had a giant guy who just kill you, like, you know, just a giant like Mr. X type tyrant character. That was pretty fucking crazy. But the idea was just like each and every one of them had something that was out to chase you and kill you. You know, it was crazy.
I mean, seriously, the environment designers and the people that scored this game knocked it out of the park. And two, because we know we can't kill Jack Baker. We hit him with a car and he shot himself in the face. He's not gonna die. We can't face him head on. So we have to run. In that choice between fight or flight, one of those options has been removed. Flight is all we got. I've always said this when watching horror movies. Like, you know, when they shoot the guy and then he gets up, I'm thinking, man, y'all just cut him up into like little pieces. Like, I'm talking little tiny cubes. What is he gonna do if he's cubes? Michael Myers not gonna come get you if he's cubes. And if he does, what is he gonna do? He's cubes. Are the little pieces gonna come rolling at you? That's stupid. The fucked up thing about Jack Baker is the little cubes will probably come rolling at you. And
I think that's a really funny concept, is just the idea that why not just fucking kill him and then just rip him, tear him to pieces, so you know for sure. I think that's also a part of the whole idiot stick problem, where like they don't really do anything to prevent future shit from happening. Like for instance, Jason, I think literally the best way to kill Jason is to cut him to little itty bits and just throw him back into the ocean. He's not regenerating. He can't regenerate. He doesn't have the power to regenerate. Fucking cut him up.
Will only be stupid
Become the serial
until
killer.
they form into a big moldy mass and eat you. After a little game of Duck Duck Goose that seems to have gotten out of hand, we get a brief moment away from Jack Baker where we go down into the basement / morgue / why is any of this here? And honestly, this is one of the weakest points in Resident Evil 7. Wandering through these terrifyingly claustrophobic halls, we are faced with dark, lumbering creatures. These are called the Molded, and they suck. I mean, they can hurt you, but at the end of the day, you kind of just go around them. It was hard to go around zombies in the first Resident Evil because, I mean, the hallways were a little tighter and the camera angles and controls made it impossible. But in this game, you can move around pretty easily. And I mean, the mud guys just look kind of stupid. They're just like little mud boys. It may have been scary if they just put one beefy one down here that chased you all around through the basement, kind of like Ustanok from Resident Evil 6, the greatest character in all of fiction.
Look at him!
Ustanok never fucking died, but at the same time, I feel like you want to be able to kill the creatures, you know? Like, the reason is just disposability. You have to be able to kill them, you know?
But they're copied and pasted all throughout this basement, and they're really just cookie cutter bullet sponges meant to make, I don't know, slightly inconvenience you. Clearly the Bakers were the stars of the show here, and these little things were just plopped in here to give you something to fight. Thankfully, they're not that hard to kill, but I find them to be an annoyance more than anything. Now, our little section with Jack Baker comes to a head in this creepy looking murder dungeon, where he continues to eat our bullets like they're nothing. There's no way.
So mind you, this is like, I don't know, like this family was normal at some point. Why the fuck do they have a normal, like why do they just have a murder dungeon? Like fucking why? They were normal. They were normal people. They fucking had friends. They had dinner parties. Normal fucking people. And then all of a sudden they turned into this, and all of a sudden the murder dungeon appears? What?
We stand a chance against this guy. That is until he opens up a little fence and we get a change. This is the cut him up into little pieces moment that I've been waiting for my entire life. This boss fight works a little strange mechanically, but his maniacal laughing and insane chainsaw scissors keep the tension pretty high. To cement the Evil Dead references even further, while you're fighting Jack, you can hear him yell out, "Groovy." This is they did that in Evil Dead. The fight is intense, but eventually he pops like a balloon, and that concludes our time with Jack Baker. Sadly, you need to break the chainsaw to get out of here. I would have loved an opportunity to go full Ash on him, but this does mean that we can move on now to Marguerite Baker. Now, it's hard to pin down a genre for Marguerite Baker, but the professional conclusion I've come to is weird, gross bug shit. He was slashers, she's weird, gross bug shit. Her design was inspired by a movie called The Brood, which I would also classify as weird, gross bug shit, and it definitely works in this context. Apparently Marguerite, as her infection was spreading, gained a connection with all the little bugs out in the bayou.
I hated it.
It gave her the ability to control them and leave all these bugs. Like, weird, gross hives everywhere. Marguerite kind of does the same thing that Jack does, where she'll menacingly walk around, but when she gets close to you, she'll just like swarm you with bugs. It's similar, but it definitely doesn't hit the same. I'd say of the three, her section is my least favorite, and that is not helped by her insane boss fight. She chases you to this weird outbuilding where you'll never guess you get swarmed by a bunch of bugs, and she chases you around there with her weird, spindly little arms. Her body's contorted into some kind of spider, and she's formed some big weird hive on her lady parts. The boss fight with Jack was at least
the hive-o-see. The uteral hive. It's so gross.
Like this cool action set piece with a chainsaw. In this one, you just like kick Marguerite in the cooter until she turns to stone and then disintegrates. I'm not gonna spend any more time talking about her section because frankly, I find it pretty dull, especially when compared to the next section with Lucas, the son. The guy who got his hand cut off. Or like Nub Brothers. Lucas is a huge genre shift. When we first encounter him, he's got these lights leading us upward. Glowing paint guides our path. And a TV left with a message for us.
Holy
crap,
that's better.
See, at this point in the game, we're looking for a set of ingredients that can be used to make a cure for Zoe and Mia. And as it turns out, Lucas has them. And he'll give them to us. But in return, he wants to play a game. The walls are lined with plastic. Bombs are placed along our path. Lucas has handcrafted this path through the mansion.
Again.
And as you walk it, he's taunting you, torturing you. And if you haven't picked up on...
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, it's Saw. His whole thing is just Saw. He just fucking blazed traps everywhere. Technically, the enemies aren't even a part of it. I don't know if their enemies are there. They're not really the main worry. But it's a fat
Markiplier.
It's a fat applier. It's a lot of fucking traps that you have to avoid, disarm, and try not to die from.
The genre that Lucas is based on. I want to tell you about a little movie called Saw.
You want to play a little game?
Now, unlike a traditional slasher movie, Saw does not feature a killer hunting down victims like prey. No, instead the killer places his victims in a highly controlled environment where he orchestrates a series of games that these unwilling participants must play. I'm gonna be honest, those movies are pretty gross and I can't really watch them anymore. One time I got really high and someone put on a Saw movie and it freaked me out. But I think it's a cool concept and it's played out pretty well here. See, Lucas embodies this torture horror and it is reflected in our first boss fight with Lucas, where we don't actually fight Lucas. Instead, we're led down a path to this mutilated monster and forced to fight it, while Lucas, over the intercom, acts as a twisted moderator.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
yeah, I remember that song.
To the
shoutcasting the entire fight, the lights, the speakers, and this is just the beginning. Upon our path, Lucas has left a corpse, and with it is the code for the door that he wants us to walk through next. And as soon as we do, he's right there to shut it behind us. Now we are trapped in this room that he has built for us. It might as well be ripped straight from a Saw movie. Our objective is to light a candle and put it on a cake. Pretty simple. Only it's not simple. In fact, it is a very convoluted set of puzzles that was slightly infuriating, but overall very...
I'm gonna be honest with you, when I did this one, I think I'm pretty sure it lasted an entire fucking day to do this one. It's so fucking much to do. And you know what? At least this puzzle makes sense because he's doing that intentionally. Unlike the mansion, or unlike the fucking police station, or unlike many other places they had to go through and find a shield to open a fucking door. Fuck, so pissed.
Stimulating. Really though, unlike a Saw puzzle, the game is completely rigged here, and no matter what you do, you will always end up being the loser. That's a reference to It. It's a clown that carves loser into your arm, and it's they say that in the movie. It's It. You seen It? It's a movie called It. There's a clown, he says loser. It's like a whole thing. The only way to actually overcome this puzzle is to outsmart Lucas. Or be bomb-proof, I guess. Lucas is an exceptionally well-done depiction of this kind of horror. The entire time that he is around, he remains in control. And the second that we gain the upper hand, dude is gone like the wind. This deep into a game, after we've gone up against such wacky enemies, Lucas gives the player a sense of powerlessness that is really crucial to keeping the horror alive. Nothing about Marguerite was that scary. In fact, it was just kind of gross.
I'm pretty sure Lucas dies in DLC when you're using, what, Chris Redfield to fight him too? I think it was Chris Redfield. I'm pretty sure it was. He turns into a giant monster that you gotta fucking kill.
But Lucas truly takes all control away from the player and keeps you guessing what's gonna happen next, which is very, very good for late stages in a game. And that's all the Bakers. With Lucas in the wind, we can finally take a breath and save our wife. Psych, bitch, what did I tell you? Rule number 2, the slasher never dies. He's still here, baby. He just looked like a raisin. This fight with Jack Baker is, in my opinion, completely unnecessary, but to be fair, personally, I really hate those boss fights where it's just a big guy and they have big eyes and you gotta shoot the eyes. I think Dead Space 3 kind of just ruined that for me. But they're playing by slasher rules, baby, so he's gotta come back. This boss fight is less about him and more about the implications of killing him. You see, the only way to kill Jack Baker is to cure him. And the problem is, we only have 2 cures. So after we kill him, we have to go back to Mia and Zoe and make a choice. And it's such a hard decision, so heart-wrenching. On the one hand, we've got, you know, your loving wife who's been missing for 3 years and you came all the way here to find her. And on the other hand, there's the girl who was on the phone. Yeah, you pick Mia. That's the canon ending, is you pick Mia. Why would you pick Zoe? I'm not.
I don't. Unless you have a boner for Zoe, there is no reason to pick Zoe. I thought that whole fucking thing about that was so fucking dumb. Like, why would they put your wife and then just be like, oh yeah, so this is your actual wife, you know, the person you married, the person that you've known for all of your life. Here's a stranger who helped you a bit. Like, fuck off! Fuck off!
Really sure. Honestly, if you do pick Zoe, she just dies anyway. There's no reason to pick Zoe. This is such a stupid choice, but whatever. You save Mia, you stab her, Zoe gets mad, whatever. Fuck you, I just met you. This is literally my wife. Why would I do anything different? You get on the boat with Mia, you ride off into the sunset just like Resident Evil 4, but except this time, it's not over. Before we can get away, we're faced with the final enemy of this game. The one who started it all. Now, I know I told you about the Mia being a secret agent and all the history with the Bakers and stuff like that early on in the video, but it's actually here at this section of the game where they lore dump all of that stuff on you. Personally, I thought it was better to just tell you up front because it makes things a little less confusing. And I think knowing that the Bakers were initially this beautiful, loving, caring family and have been tragically warped into these nasty things makes them like even scarier. I think it's stupid that they just don't tell you what's going on and then trauma dump everything on you at the end. But one thing I think was worth holding on to until the end here was the little more backstory we get on Evelyn. Evelyn was just a little girl who wanted a family, and Mia and this other dude were kind of acting as her fake family, but she wanted a real one. So she infected the Bakers and made them her family. All she needed was, I think they said it was like she needed a dad. I don't understand why Jack Baker wasn't her dad, but I don't think I'm getting the full picture. Either way, she is the reason that Ethan was summoned out here. He was gonna be her papa. While they're on the ship, Ethan gets trapped in the mold, and then he gets a bunch of visions from like Jack. Seriously, I'm telling you, Slasher never dies. He came back in a dream. It kind of counts. Where all the Bakers represented different kinds of horror, I believe Evelyn represents psychological horror. She takes over your mind so that you can never trust anything that you see or hear. That's terrifying. Countless films use this kind of horror, and that's because it is a kind of horror that really sticks with you. Each of the Bakers was violent in some way, and violence, while scary, is a means to an end. There's like an anticipated outcome. And for your mind to be warped so that you can't trust anything that you see, slowly losing yourself, that is far scarier than anything physical. Walking again through.
To be honest, I felt kind of sad that you had to like kill Evelyn. But it made, like, obviously you kind of had to, like, it's like the whole fucking point, because if she kind of continued on, she'd just end up growing more and more and turning into like this fucking impossible. But it's kind of sad too, because it's just like a little girl who just wanted a family, and all this shit happened. It just got so fucking uncontrollable that it fucking did this. It is, the concept of it is still fucking horrifying. It is, it absolutely is. Still though, the scariest one is Resident Evil 1.
through the baker's house, we're shown things, we hear things that cannot possibly be there. Evelyn is in Ethan's head.
Perception
There's only one
of
way to
reality
get her out,
warped,
and guess what?
so you can't trust what you see.
She's old. Oh my God.
Welcome to schizophrenia. Enjoy your stay in Helicaricus.
So true, so true.
That was Evelyn the whole time. The grandma was Evelyn. Holy smokes, I knew there was some shenanigans. And now she's gonna melt down and get all scary like Monster House. This is just like Monster House. Evelyn has been right in front of us the entire time, around every corner, and yet we did nothing. I mean, I did try to shoot her a couple times, but that's just because I'm a bad person. There's a crazy boss fight with her. It gets a little wild. She gets big. You start to shoot the bulbs. It's awesome, but it wouldn't be Resident Evil if someone didn't throw you a weapon right at the end for you to take the final shot.
Playtime, bro.
That's crazy.
I think the question here is, does this work? Does all of this work together? My answer? Hell yeah, sometimes. I mean, like, it's pretty good, but I mean, I don't know, some parts kind of sucked. It was pretty good. Yeah, the amount of references to other horror media here is kind of insane, and it makes me wonder if I liked the game itself or if I just liked all the things that it was referencing. Some people might consider that cheap, but
I found it okay, look, because he's not gonna talk about it. I am, dude. When I saw this guy and they showed his face, because it was just like this mystery, it's just like boom, oh my god, it's Chris Redfield. When I first saw him, no joke, I looked at him and I was just like, who the fuck is that? Like, am I supposed to be impressed by something? And he says Redfield, but he looks nothing like Chris Redfield. Nothing like, look at him, that's not Chris Redfield. Who is this man? Where the fuck did he come from?
I would argue that the best media out there is just someone grabbing all the things that they like and mashing them together and putting their own
sauce on. He does not look like a boulder punching
asshole.
asshole.
Yeah, sure, this game is kind of just a copy paste of a bunch of other horror media, but the key here is that it has the sauce. I had a good time, and I think really that's all that matters to me. And honestly, I love that it brought Resident Evil back to its roots. While I had fun with Resident Evil 6, it was one of the most hilariously awful games I've ever played, and it was only fun because it was bad. This is a genuinely fun game. Anyway, game good, video over. Click the card right here, watch another thing. Do like the like and subscribe stuff. Do all that. That would be great. YouTube thinks you'll like this one. Are they right?
That's fucking funny. So that was the Scariest Resident Evil game by Bisley Channel. I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot. I like to thank Arden the Bull for recommending me this one. This was a really good. This was a really good find. I really did enjoy it. It was a really funny one. I enjoyed it a lot. But hopefully we'll find more to react to. Again, you'll see a lot more. We'll see a lot more TF2 content being put out there.
Much love.
We're gonna see a lot more TF2 content because that's still like the brunt of everything that I have been getting has been from the TF2 community. Thank you. I appreciate it a lot. Getting 500 is getting there very fast. I didn't think it was going to be that fast. I'm going to be honest. I thought it would be like low numbers for a while. Holy shit. But yeah, no, thank you very much for coming by. I really do appreciate it. If you want more UV content, you can follow the links below. My comic is there on Pixiv, Patreon, Webtoons, and Tapas. And also, if you want to support me on my Patreon, all funds that I get from my Patreon go to my comic. Go to my comic artist as well as other projects that I'm working on. If you didn't know, I'm directing a game that hopefully I will have more dev things for next month. By the way, I'm also going to be revealing the aesthetic of the said game for that time, and you will see everything, and it'll be nice. But yeah, no, thank you very much for coming by. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Mwah, love you all. Bye, everybody.